Dakota's subtle provocation to Amelia. Jamie and I are going to get married. In the quiet hum of a late afternoon cafe, where conversations dissolved into the soft clink of porcelain and the hiss of steaming milk, Dakota chose her moment with surgical precision. There was no dramatic pause, no raised voice, no audience craving scandal. Just a sentence delivered lightly, almost casually, like an afterthought drifting between sips of coffee. Jamie and I are going to get married. For Amelia, the words landed not as sound, but as impact. Those who knew the tangled history between the three of them understood instantly that this was no simple announcement. It was a message, carefully wrapped, politely phrased, and aimed straight at a place Dakota knew was still tender. Amelia had learned long ago how to keep her face still. Years in social circles where smiles were armor had trained her well. Her lips curved upward, polite and controlled, while her fingers tightened around the handle of her cup. Anyone watching from afar might have mistaken her reaction for happiness, or at least acceptance. Only Dakota noticed the slight pause in Amelia's breathing, the half-second too long before she replied. "That's wonderful," Amelia said. And it sounded convincing enough. Jamie, of course, was not there. He rarely was when things like this happened. His absence had always been the space where assumptions grew wild and unchallenged. Dakota knew that too. She had always known how to occupy the empty places Jamie left behind. To outsiders, Dakota's reputation was impeccable. Elegant, composed, effortlessly charming. She had a talent for saying exactly the right thing, in exactly the right tone, while meaning something else entirely. Friends often described her as kind. Amelia had once believed that description herself. But kindness, Amelia had learned, could be performative. The engagement, Dakota explained, was still informal. No ring yet, no date announced. Just a shared decision, a mutual understanding, a future spoken aloud for the first time. Each word was gentle, each detail unnecessary, and each one pressed just a little harder. Amelia listened, nodding at the appropriate moments, offering congratulations when silence would have seemed rude. Inside, memories stirred, the late-night conversations with Jamie, the almosts and what-ifs, the unspoken promise that had never quite become real. She had told herself she was past all that she had moved on. Dakota's sentence suggested otherwise. What made it cruel was not the content, but the delivery. There was no accusation, no direct challenge. Dakota did not say, "You lost him." She didn't need to. The implication hovered in the air, elegant and sharp, impossible to swat away without revealing pain. Later, when Amelia replayed the moment in her mind, she would wonder whether Dakota had rehearsed it. Whether she had chosen that cafe because it was neutral territory, or because Amelia couldn't afford to make a scene there. Whether the timing, just weeks after Amelia's quiet breakup, just days after Jamie had sent a vaguely nostalgic message, was coincidence or calculation. Publicly, the announcement traveled fast. Friends reacted with enthusiasm. Social media buzzed with heart emojis and speculative comments. Jamie remained characteristically silent, letting Dakota's certainty speak for both of them. The story, once released, took on a life of its own. Privately, Amelia unraveled in ways no one saw. She questioned herself more than she questioned Dakota. Why did it hurt this much? She asked her reflection late at night. Why did one sentence undo so much progress? She hated that Dakota still had this power, hated even more that it seemed to come so easily. And yet, beneath the hurt, another realization formed, quiet, stubborn, and unexpectedly steady. Dakota's words had been an assertion, not a fact. A claim staked in language rather than law. Going to get married was not the same as engaged, not the same as certain. It was a future tense, fragile by nature. Amelia began to see the provocation for what it was. Not confidence, but insecurity dressed as grace. When they met again weeks later, the dynamic had shifted. Dakota noticed it immediately. Amelia was calmer, less eager to please, less reactive. The smile was still there, but it belonged fully to her now. "So," Dakota said lightly, as if continuing an old conversation, "things are moving quickly." Amelia met her gaze. This time, she didn't flinch. "I'm sure they'll work out the way they're meant to," she replied. It was not a challenge. Not an endorsement either. Just the truth, spoken plainly. Dakota looked away first. In the end, the provocation did exactly what Dakota intended, at first. It wounded, unsettled, destabilized. But it also revealed something essential: the difference between a future declared to impress, and a life rebuilt in quiet certainty. For Amelia, that sentence marked not an ending, but a turning point. And for Dakota, perhaps without realizing it, it marked the moment her most carefully chosen words lost their power.